Alright, back again, and today I'd like to tell you how you can change your Super Nintendo, if you have a Super Nintendo that looks like this. Make it basically so you can play Super Famicom games. For those of you who like to play the Japanese Super Famicom games, or the more rare Super Famicom games that never made it to the States, you can do this simple mod, and it won't cost you a penny as long as you have the right tools. Before we start though, I'll show you a little bit of differences between the two carts, and tell you a little bit why you can't normally interchange them with each other freely. For starters here, in my right hand I have a Super Nintendo cartridge. If you look at the size of it and you look at the design of it, it's in kind of a rectangular shape here, and even the bottom here, it's a really rectangular shape. With the Super Famicom cartridge, however, the front part is actually rounded, and with this rounded design, it's a little bit bigger in the front than the Super Nintendo cartridge. Also, if you put them over each other, the Super Nintendo cartridge is actually a little bit longer than the Super Famicom cartridge, but looking at it from the bottom, if you were to line up the chip sizes are exactly the same. So by changing the case, this is one of the earlier ways that they tried to prohibit using Japanese games in American systems, American games in Japanese systems, and so on and so forth. This is just one of the ways that they did it. So if you take, for example, I'll take this one out of the way for now, put this up here. This is a Japanese Super Famicom, and like I said, with the size difference, as well as the top slot here, if you look at the slot design, it's designed so that it has this round curve in the front. And if you try to put a Super Nintendo game in, well, you just can't, because it's bigger than the slot. But what makes the American Super Nintendo a lot better, a lot more interesting, is the fact that they made this slot really big, and they made it really wide. There was no super big specific things that would prohibit other games from going in, except for the introduction of the tab system in the back. Now, turning this Super Famicom cartridge around, you can see there's absolutely no slots here for it to slide into, whereas you look for the Super Nintendo, or you look at the Super Nintendo cartridge here, and it has two slots. These two slots fit over two plastic pins inside the Super Nintendo, and allow it to sit in there and lock in place firmly. But what they also do is they prohibit the Super Famicom games from going in. If there wasn't any of those pins, if there weren't any of those pins, the Super Famicom cart would slide in fine. I mean, there's plenty of space. It can move back and forth. It's basically it's ready to go. So what we want to do is we want to get rid of those stupid plastic pins that cause you nothing but hassle and just piss you off. The way to do that is you need to take out your 6 screws on the bottom here, and you can use a special screwdriver to do that. And take out the 6 screws that are in the bottom here, and you can, after you get done, you should be able to lift off the top here, and have to disconnect your there you go, disconnect your front ports, and you'll have this piece here. And in the bottom there's a mess load of Phillips screws, but once you take out those Phillips screws, you can have access to this plastic piece. And this one I already wound up stripping or ripping those things out, those plastic tabs. But you basically take this plastic part off on the inside here, and in the back, in towards the bottom, I don't know if you can see or not because they're not there anymore, but basically down here where my finger is, there was one tab here, and there was another tab down here on this side. And once you take this this piece off in back here, you can get to it really easily, and you can use a pair of pliers. If you have something similarly shaped to these, you could use a pair of pliers, grab a hold of those tabs, and wiggle them back and forth, and they'll snap off. You'll still have some remnants of plastic left over, but after you snap those off, if you have an X-Acto knife, a really sharp one, you can go around it and you can remove the excess parts and make it really smooth. You can also use a piece of sandpaper and sand it down so that it's flush if you'd like. And once you remove both of those tabs and make it smooth and get everything nice and flush, you can put your cover back on. And once you have your cover back on, you are ready to go. So snap your cover back on like that, and you no longer have those tabs. In some cases, you might have to take the game out once or twice and push it back down. It might be a little bit off. As long as it's not completely crooked, it'll play the game fine. But basically, once you get it done, you can pop down your Super Famicom game and you're ready to play. If you want to take the Famicom game out and you want to go back to playing your Super Nintendo games, well, there's no problem there either. It'll play just the same. So it's just a quick, simple way of modding your Super Nintendo and making it so that you can play Super Famicom games. I wish I could show you a little bit more in detail, but I'm trying to make this video as fast as possible. But if by any chance, I suppose, you don't have the screwdriver for the bottom here, you could, if you're really fiending to play a Super Famicom game, you could probably hold in the top cover here, and with your screwdriver probably wiggle this back and forth, and then maybe you might be able to get your X-Acto knife down there and cut it away. It's not going to look very pretty when you get done with it, and it's not going to look very smooth when you get done with it, but it is another possible way of doing it, and it should have the same results. You should be able to play your Super Famicom game. The only important part to remember is that you get all the remnants off both sides and make it somewhat smooth, because if not, if there's still a piece on the bottom here, or if there's still a piece on the side, your Super Famicom cartridge isn't going to sit in flat, and you're not going to get it to play so easily. But yeah, for those of you who want to tackle something like that and just play around with it, I recommend it. And yeah, like always, I'll put up another video here soon, so thanks for watching.